So in the 14th verse, he said, when there is predominance of sattva, you will be automatically gravitated to an environment which is conducive for your next experience, which is the next birth. So you will be born into the world which is spotless. Amalaha. Worlds of the knowers of the Supreme. Relatively, you will be born into a sattvic environment. Absolutely, you will be born into an environment which you would attain realization. So you will be born into an environment, into higher dimensions until you get to the goal of self-realization. So as we said, when the inevitable death happens, the only thing that is carried forward is wisdom in the form of your evolution, which can be measured with reference to your quotient of your sattva, rajas, and tamas. The more sattvic you are, the more spiritually evolved you would be. You carry forward your unfulfilled vasanas. Thirdly, you carry forward the karma phala. You will carry forward the fruits of your action, which have not fructified in this embodiment. So you'll be born into an environment where you have no choice but to express the fruits of your past actions. Now, following the same thought flow, he talks about what happens when a person dies in rajas and tamas. Verse 15, please. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sanghishu jayate tatha pralinastamasi mudhayonishu jayate. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sanghishu jayate tatha pralinastamasi mudhayonishu jayate. Meeting death in rajas, he is born amongst those who is attached to action. So also dying in tamas, he is born in the wombs of the senseless. The same principle applies to this verse as well. Relatively, it is the death of this action. So when this action of listening or being a part of the satsang ends, you will be philosophically born into a new experience. And if rajas is predominant, you will be born into an environment attached to action. If tamas is predominant, you will be born into the wombs of the senseless. You will get into a tamasic environment, relatively and absolutely. So if you are gravitated, again, a cue. How do you know what kind of a person you are? If you are gravitated to those who are attached to action, understand you are rajasic. But if you are revulsive to any attachment, that means you are sattvic. A rajasic person is comfortable with rajasic people. A sattvic person is not comfortable with rajasic people. You must understand. So only a man is like zebras will move with zebras. Buffaloes will move with buffaloes, lions with lions. Don't they say birds of same feather flock together? If you have it of that nature in you, you are attracted to that kind of environment, and that people are drawn to you, and you're drawn to them, and you're comfortable amidst them. Why are you comfortable? Because you are exhibiting that particular innate nature. So if you are gravitated to those who are attached to action, understand the rajas in you is manifesting. Tamasic people born in the womb of the senseless. I don't know how to describe this. It's very difficult to describe. Anybody can attempt describing wombs of the senseless? I don't know. I'm lost for words. That means your tamas is predominant. How do you explain wombs of senseless? Every how I don't know how to describe them. What is a okay? Can you describe relatively when we die being born into a tamasic environment? Relatively, mudha yonishu, the Sanskrit word for. Can we have the translation again, ma please? Mudha yonishu jayate, the wombs of the senseless. So the last two words in the verse says Mudha Yonishu Jayate. Jayate means goes, he is born. Mudha is senseless fellows. Okay, so can you describe being a part of an action where your actions are senseless? Thanks, Gayatri. So where your actions are senseless. So I could go into an environment where my tamas in me has attracted me to that environment where actions are senseless, or I am born into an embodiment only of senseless. Why? Tamas is predominant. 60% of tamas, what will happen? You will be born to a senseless fellow only, no? I uh, whenever there are some festivities, like recently there was this, we have just going through the phase of Ayyappa Puja, Ayyappa month, where everybody goes to Shabarimalai. They will Ganesh Chaturthi, some festival keeps on coming. So you find people set up these temporary uh, establishments or uh, structures, and they perform activity or celebration, or it could be some election going on or something. And you will find that they keep blasting music late into the night. And right across our locality, there is this, whatever they do, we'll be the first one to hear. And believe me or not, it will go on and on and on until you get neutralized to the sound and you sleep off. You get neutralized to that sound. You know? How can, so unmindful of their actions, what it is doing to others? Senseless. Now, you want to pray, why don't you pray in your own environment? Nobody is denying you. You want to celebrate, please celebrate in your own space. That does not mean you announce it in such high decibels where you cause unrest to the entire society. in the vicinity, senseless actions. So it could be any celebration, New Year celebration, non-productive, useless. Yeah, there are such people are useless is the right word. Non-production doesn't exist in their life. Only consuming resources. Yes, Ramji.
No, this word mudha, we use in Telugu also, that we call it some of the superstitions, we call them as mudha namakam. That means, so it actually aptly describes that mudha is actually without thinking. I mean, there is no thought which goes behind it. So it is in a way senseless. It has no logic actually, and it just gets passed on from generation to generation. That you do some of these things, and then so moda in that sense is a senseless thing. So, but it is very much prevalent, not just among tamasic people, or maybe that is a tamasic gun, even among very old people also, that some of the things they will do which are just passed down to them from without thinking.
No,
And,
it's not a question of being passed down. It's a question of the tamoguna in them expresses those senseless traits.
yeah, exactly. No, it's very, and things like this music that you said and all that, that is a very minor aspect of moda. There are much bigger aspects of moda.
That's why I was saying I am lost for examples. So I would need some input here.
For example, sir, I will give you one example.
Please.
You go to the Kamakhya temple in Guwahati, and we went.
Do I really need to go there?
No, you don't have to go there. If
No, you say go there. You were saying so. I was just trying to be
you
very
go
upright.
there. If you go there, I don't know whether it has changed now, but 10 years back we went. I and Usha went. In front of our eyes, they had beheaded 2 buffaloes.
My God.
For the offering. And by the time we finished our pradakshina and went into the temple, in front of the Devi, those 2 heads were there on 2 plates. Now, what do you call that? I mean, it is today killing a buffalo is because it is a voiceless animal, can't protest. And in the same fashion, who will prevent people from sacrificing humans or children or women for the sake of this modhanamakam, what we call that? These are the senseless beliefs which drive people, without anything. So that is, it can go to that levels. I am saying that this modhaness among people can be so unsettling many times that we couldn't see that scene in the temple. So I don't know how they allow it, but that's how it is. So you
rightly said, it is blind practices, not backed with knowledge or wisdom. There's no intellect at all.
Exactly.
And it leads one to senseless practices, meaningless practices.
But I have recently written, I will send it to you. I have recently written an article on LinkedIn on this public behavior, irresponsible public behavior of people. And in which I talked about this music, blasting of music late into the night on multiple occasions and things like that. Of course, there are much bigger things which we do in public life which are completely insensitive to the others. And so all these things they all fall into the same category of.
But can you imagine what is shocking is a predominantly tamasic person, his entire life he's born into an environment which caters to his demand for tamasic life.
Yeah.
So you feel sorry, not, see, it's not, we're talking of an experience or two, but imagine your whole life, you're conditioned with what, see, the nature is only providing you what you want. If I demand tamas, you will be given tamasic environment. If you are worthy of sattva, you will be born into the pure and the wealthy and the sattvic as a spotless worlds. In the previous verse, he said, if you are passionate about running behind greed, lust, possession, power, proprietorship, you will be drawn into that environment. Even today, are we not talking? I would not want to mention leaders, but today you find leaders are still holding on to power, not wanting to let go of their power, whether it be in a service organization, or it could be in a spiritual organization, or it could be a political organization, or it could be a power of some nature you have. You're holding on to a power, attached to that position.
In fact, sir, the other day, I mean, just 3 days back, we were discussing the president of the most powerful country in the world today. Is he Rajasic? And we know what he is doing. Is he Rajasic? So somebody said that yes, he is predominantly Rajasic, but there is also a great element of tamasic nature in him because he is not thinking. See, you are too lazy to think, right? So you end up doing things without thinking through, and then with minimum thinking, you do things, and in a highly selfish manner. So it is actually something, a great combination of Rajasic and Tamasic natures that you see in this person.
Sir, to talk in a language which I'll be comfortable to say is they are Ravanas of the modern era.
Yeah.
We know Ravanas of the times of Valmiki, but these people remind us that these Rakshasas will be there uh, in every society, you know.
Exactly.
So I would want you to fill that column of Tamasic people. Looks like it'll be a long list.
Yeah.
But let's not
Yeah, I know.
mention personality is not to mean to defame or
No.
to is to brand a personality which we should be mindful. But I can get where you're getting at, Ramji. But what is, as I've said, is when Rajas predominates, you're born into. Thanks, Ramji. When Rajas predominates, you're born into an environment of Rajas. When Sattva predominates, you're born into environment of Sattva. When Tamas, you're born into that world. But what Vedanta tells you is it doesn't matter where you are. It does not mean you will stay put there, or it does not mean you should stay put there. For what God forsaken I must have done in the Purva Janma, if I am born into a Rajasic environment, that does not mean this Janma I will remain there. Or because I'm born into a Tamasic environment, that doesn't mean that I should remain there. So, as a human, you and I have the choice to put in self effort. We have the choice of put in effort to move onwards. So, what should be our approach with reference to these gunas? We have mentioned this before, but it is important to specify it here. How should we deal with these three gunas? Firstly, what should be done is you must constantly try to promote sattva. Now, this applies to wherever you are in the field. You must try and promote your sattvic guna in you, whatever be the proportion. Secondly, try to keep yourself as active as possible. So sustain action, rajas, not in sense of running behind your desires, but trying to sustain action. Thirdly, wherever you identify tamas, you got to stifle tamas. Why are you laughing, Gayatri Ma? She had a subtle smile on her face when I said stifle tamas. May I know, please? If you can't, then you can tell me in private, no problem. Sorry. So, there is the three things you got to do. You got to promote sattva, you got to sustain rajas, you got to stifle tamas. Now, if you do this, irrespective of where you are, you will be dealing with the three gunas in the appropriate manner. This is how you must approach. And if you do it in the right manner, it's a matter of time. The predominance of that guna will give you the right environment. Okay, let's move on to verse 16, please. Karmana sukrutasyahuhu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasa phalam. Karmana sukrutasyahuhu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasa phalam. The fruit of good action, they say, is sattvika, pure. Verily, the fruit of rajas is sorrow, the fruit of tamas is ignorance. Very interesting construction. I hope some of you can notice the difference in the construction. Yes, Hina, I will ask you if you can note the difference. Leave the verse as it is, Gayatri Ma.
Hariom Guruji.
Yes, Ma. The question is, do you note an obvious difference in the construction?
No, Guruji, I can't identify it.
You can't identify it. Okay. Can we ask your guru? Gayatri Ma, who is Hina's guru? How do you know, Gayatri Ma? See, I did not tell Hina, I have not told Gayatri Ma about it. I don't know, Harish, how does she know about it? So now it's a universal acceptance. Yes, sir. Will you tell me, sir, can you note? It's an obvious change in the construction. It's intentional.
I have, Guruji, I've noticed the word fruit in every sentence. That's my observation. The word fruit is there in every context of sattva, rajas, tamas.
No, that's a common factor. What is the difference? There's an obvious difference in the construction. So if you read, he says the fruit of rajas is sorrow, the fruit of tamas is ignorance. He does not say the fruit of sattva is purity. He says the fruit of good action is purity. Do you see that construction?
Yes, I do see that, Guruji.
So it's a very intentional, very purposeful usage of language. He's putting it in passive voice. Why not say the fruit of sattva is pure? But he says the fruit of good action is purity. So he's putting it in a passive voice, whereas he puts in a active voice with reference to rajas and tamas. And in the next mantra, when you go, he directly contradicts himself again. Don't worry. But in 17th verse, he's going to contradict and speak the same language what he uses with reference to Rajas and Tamas. But here he puts in a different language. I'll explain. But I just wanted you all to note the difference. Thanks, Ma. So the fruit of good action, he says, is sattva, is purity, is a state of mental equanimity, tranquility, a state of peace or bliss. So when you are sattvic, to that extent you will be experiencing this purity. The fruit of rajas is sorrow. Sorrow is nothing but mental unrest. Mentally, you are not tranquil or peaceful, whatever be causing it. It could be your mother causing you, your neighbor causing, your health causing. It could be anything that's causing that mental unrest. Understand you are being dished out the fruit of your own rajasic mindset. Nothing can cause you mental agitations except yourself. This is what we say. Nothing in the world can disturb you except yourself. So if you are being agitated by something, it is not because of something, it is because of your rajasic nature. I can choose to be peaceful in spite of things that's happening around me. Is it not? I can remain to be as balanced, as poised, as measured as possible, irrespective of what things are happening. That is because of the sattva in you. But if I am disturbed, it is because of my rajasic nature. So the fruit of rajas in you is sorrow. So you will have to eat the fruits of your own guna. And the fruits of tamas is ignorance. Even tamasic fellow also no reaction. Don't mistake it to be sattva. That's all we are saying. But complete ignorance, there's no reaction. Now, why does he say the fruit of good action is sattva? See, sattva cannot be practiced. Just like meditation cannot be practiced. Please understand that. Sattva is a state. Sattva is not a practice. So to indicate that sattva is a state you reach when you're trying to purify an imperfect action, when I purify an imperfect action, I reach a state of sattva. I can't practice sattva. I am sattvic. I hope you are able to understand the concept. Oshama, what we are trying to say is sattva is a state. When we say a state means it's an effect. It is not a cause. So I can't try to practice sattva and get purity. I can't try to practice purity. I become pure. I am pure. You can't practice. So when I'm trying to practice, what am I trying to practice? I'm trying to perfect by action. I'm trying to remove imperfection from my action. So when I try to attempt of trying to perfect my action, which is what he says as good action, sukrutasya, when you perform good action, such results of good action lead you to purity. So you can't practice sattva, you reach a state of sattva. Similarly, you can't practice meditation because meditation is a state you reach. You can't practice. You can't try to keep meditation is not trying to keep the mind calm. The world is being misled by these gurus on meditation, and the masses are ignoramuses. They will take whatever is said. Meditation is not trying to calm the mind. What is meditation? Meditation is not an exercise to calm the mind. Meditation is, can you fill in the blank? Meditation is an observation of breath. That is the first exercise you are told when you're meditating. You should observe something. You start from observing your breath, then you start observing your mind, and then it is annihilation of mind. It's total silence. It starts with observation of breath. But again, these are the things that are prescribed when you are prescribing meditation. Because these so-called famous gurus are prescribing meditation, people are flocking to it. But the Shastric way, the orthodox way is it is not prescribed because meditation cannot be practiced. So meditation is not to calm the mind. And what is meditation for? Meditation is prescribed for a mind which is already calm. If your mind is in a sattvic, in fact, a sattvic mind gravitates to meditation. You don't try to meditate to keep the mind sattvic. This is if you get this sentence, you get what I'm saying. Meditation, a sattvic mind would gravitate to meditation. But by practicing meditation, you can't make the mind sattvic or pure. This is the message. Why is it so? Because meditation is not something which can be practiced. Similarly, sattva also cannot be practiced. Sattva is a state you reach. So to convey that particular message, there is a change in the construction of grammar construction. And again here, when he says that, he say, they say. Who is they say? Referring to the great gurus of the past. So Lord Krishna is not arrogating to himself and say, I am saying, take it from me. He's not saying, I am only saying what the great gurus have said. So this tradition of imparting this traditional knowledge, orthodox knowledge, is not being practiced today. Whatever the guru thinks and does is the norm today. So it's all personality driven. Very hardly you find gurus today holding on to orthodox textbooks and being true to that. You got to be true to the word, true to the grammar, true to their spirit. That is lost. It is all, many things are being practiced and all the aura of the guru comes in and takes over. Sadly, there is no observation of these Sanatana Dharma. These textbooks are lost. Shamlama, you're following? You get the message?
Pranams, Guruji.
Yes, ma'am. Good to have you back.
Confusing.
Confusing, huh? What did you write down? Depends on what you wrote down.
No, I was assuming meditation is something to be practiced. So.
You've been listening to wrong gurus. You've been listening to some guru, I don't know, right or wrong. No, that does not mean you should not sit quiet. Try and sit quiet.
Yes, I try to sit quiet and all, but then we do it steadily, but we are thinking that is the way to a calmer mind. Calm your mind and then sit down. I wouldn't know whether I'm actually doing meditation or I'm reaching that state, but I know I'm sitting calm. Even Satvik, when you said, Guruji, yes, I thought it is you practice. Only now I'm aware that it is a state.
See, when do you become sattvic? Only when you remove the impurities of rajas and tamas, right?
Yes.
Can you practice trying to be pure?
No, you have to be pure from within. By self-realization, you have to be pure.
Obviously, we're talking from within only, but can you try and practice purity?
No,
You
it's
can't
not.
practice purity. You can only remove the impurity. When the
Yes.
impurity is removed, what happens? You remain pure. It's like when you remove the disease of your body, what you get is you get to the state of being health, which is your natural state. You can't try to be healthy. You have to be ensure you don't fall unhealthy.
Yes, yes.
So, and if you're unhealthy, you're removing ill health. When the ill health is removed, you automatically are healthy. So you
Healthy.
can't you so what we are the message here with reference to meditation is you will be able to meditate. Okay, let's put this way. You will be able to meditate productively to the extent you are sattvic. If you're
You
10, if you're 10% sattvic, to that extent you're qualified to meditate. 90% of your rajas and tamas makes your mind disqualified to sit in that sense, in that state of equanimity. The mind will get rattled, the mind will get ruffled, the mind will get disturbed because of the traffic of thoughts will come and create a chaos in the head. It will be a chaos in a cross junction without traffic lights. What will happen in any
Yes, chaos. Total
Can you
chaos.
imagine a chaotic situation on a cross junction without traffic light or police governing it? Each
Yes,
one is coming as if I have got the license to go and I would want to barge in at any cost, and it will be
grid.
a gridlock. So imagine a chaos of traffic of thoughts, and that's the state of rajas and a state of complete tamas. It is irreparable state. Tamas is nothing can be done, as we learned earlier. So such minds, such mindset of rajas and tamas makes it non-conducive to meditate. So to the extent you're pure, to that extent you meditate. Please you must realize meditation is not a balm to calm your mind. It is not a mental balm to calm your mind. That is what the modern gurus are very successfully marketing it. So everybody who is agitated, they sit in meditation to calm the mind. It is not a mental balm to soothe your mental wounds. It's only a healthy mind, a pure mind, a sattvic mind, a matured mind, an evolved mind that can meditate. An immature, a disturbed, an agitated, an imperfect mind cannot meditate. So don't try to calm the mind through the practice of meditation. It will not work. It may work, but it is not going to last. It's only temporary. What really works is working on your nature. The moment you become impure, get rid of the impurities, automatically you'll be gravitated towards meditation, which it is ideally said it is the gateway to self-realization. Ultimately, we all have to pass through that gate, but that is the last stage of the sadhana. Imagine what you are meant to do last, you're doing the first.
Yeah.
Imagine you are doing Arangetram the first week of your music learning. You are taken because you are able to take a stage and an audience. You can gather and you started performing. What will happen to a student the first week of his music learning is performing Arangetram? What will happen?
We fall off the stage very soon.
You will be thrown off the stage first.
No,
How
he
long
insists.
will throw you out? Because it's not sound, it is noise, not music. So before you are worthy of it, you are trying to do, it doesn't befit you.
Yes, yes.
And that caution is not being told. But if you follow logical thought process, you will be able to relate to that idea. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Move on to 17. 1 minute, Ma. Soumya Ma is asking a question here. Before that, Radha Krishna is asking, they claim it is interpretation of the Shastra. They claim it's for you to verify it. Don't go by what they said blindfoldedly. We don't know whether their interpretation is correct or not. Your objective is not to check whether they are right or wrong. Your objective should be to study the scriptures and know the truth. You have got an intellect, no? Exercise your intellect through like what you're doing now. You don't have to, okay, even now when I'm saying, don't have to go with my interpretation. Exercise your independent intellect, question everything that is being said, and you come to your own rational understanding. But not to question is to give a license to all that is said and accept irrationally, which is not that is advocated. So what we are telling is don't accept anything that is said on its face value. Question it. People don't have time to study the scriptures, try and understand, so they just take whatever is said. So don't do that. It's not logical. Don't allow yourself to be victims of others' experiments. You don't want your body to be experimented by doctors on you, would you? Ramita, would you want doctors to experiment on you? You will say, sorry, I'm not a scapegoat. Yeah, you go, what are you trying to experiment on me? If anything that is prescribed, don't you go and verify, am I subjecting myself to the right course of treatment? Even though you and I are ignorant in that field of medicine, but still, don't you use your intellect and try and gain whatever knowledge you can? And then you come to a conclusion. I think what is said is right. I think this is the best course of action. End of the day, you take a decision. You don't go on what is prescribed blindly, which is prevalent, rampant in the spiritual field. Nobody uses the intellect. Nobody, hardly anybody uses the intellect. Therefore, all we are being told, and what all I'm saying here, Radha Krishna, is don't just go by what is said. Just you go inquire. Maybe there's some truth in it. Maybe there's no truth in it. Maybe there's all truth in what is being said. But come to an understanding with your own independent effort. Now, Soumya is asking, does a sattvic person experience inner peace even in difficulty? I will only answer this question by what Mahatma Gandhi said. Any fool can find Shanti in Shanti. Only a spiritual man can find Shanti in Ashanti. Now, where do you want to find peace? In Ashanti? Even when there's Ashanti, you should find Shanti in it. So, to that extent, there is, you are expected to learn to deal with what life throws at you. Ashanti means there is chaos around you. In that also you must find Shanti. And what's the key to it? To practice that sense of mental detachment. If you're mentally detached, believe me, you will be able to find peace. Don't take everything that's thrown at you. We give examples of try to be a butter paper than a blotting paper. A butter paper doesn't absorb things. A blotting paper absorbs everything. Why are you trying to be a sponge, absorb everything that is thrown at you? Apply a little, when you want to do robbery, I don't know if it's still practiced or not, but olden days I used to see movies or heard stories, when people want to go robbery, Pramita, what they used to do? You seem to know. Oh my God, you are very knowledgeable. How is it you have so much knowledge here? I'm a little concerned.
Actually, Guruji, Hari Om,
Yeah.
everybody. No, because in Malaysia, there's this sort of a mythical story about they call it orang minyak.
Are you trying to escape from this by saying mythical story and things?
No, I'm just sharing from Malaysian perspective, Guruji.
Okay.
And this mythical, they actually enter people's homes in the villages in the dark of night, and what they do is they apply black oil on them, so that they are, number one, they are not seen, number two, they are slippery, and that's how they manage to escape. But also they take on this very frightening appearance, so people are afraid of them also.
Correct. So what did you learn today in Vedanta class, Gita class? Apply the oil of detachment. It can be white oil also, it doesn't have to be black oil. It can be white oil, oil of detachment. Nothing will stick to you. It should, you have that slippery mindset. Means don't hold on to things. Don't give too much importance. Somebody out of their mind said something. Why are you holding on to it, man? Somebody senselessly said something. How could he say that to me? And you hold on to that and you're losing peace of mind because he blabbered something out of his mind. You yourself say that he was senseless, made a irrational, erratic, impulsive statement. Why are you holding on to an impulsive statement? If he had thought over it and given us a remark, then it should be bothering you, isn't it? When somebody impulsively blabbered something, why are you holding on to it? There's I don't know which context of it, there's a story of two armies in a war zone, two armies actually walking against each other and across on two sides of the road. One army is going this way, other army going other way. And suddenly there's a fight and they start taking their weapons and start shooting each other, and there's a heap of dead bodies. And somebody, the authority comes and stops and says, somehow he puts the whole thing to rest and starts finding out, why are you fighting? Why are you fighting? Who started this? Who started this? And then they start going. And somehow they could trace to the point where it all started. I don't know how it did that. But the story says that he said, I started the fight because that flow. What I did? What am I doing now, Pramita?
Is it making pulling a face, Guruji?
No, I'm biting my thumb. I'm putting a face. So he said, he did this to me. Who? The opposite army fellow. He did this to me. So then he asked him, why you did that to him? To which he said, I bit my thumb, sir, but not at him, sir. That fellow's reaction was, yes, I did bit my thumb, but not at him. The result is heap of dead bodies. So why are you holding on to everything that is coming your way? If you have that attitude of detachment, just let go. You will find so much manashanti, Swamyama. Why are you taking personally? A mad fellow is saying something. Why are you listening to that mad fellow? You tell me that he's mad, and why are you listening to that mad fellow? Don't listen to him. Apply some oil and not only hair, put oil all over body and sit in the house. Or not in the house, wherever you are. That at least that way you will remember attitude of detachment. So what used to happen in India also happened in Malaysia.
It looks like it.
Looks like it. Yeah. Thanks, ma. You have to gracefully accept. Does not have to. It's not passively accepting. It's understanding how to deal with it. Okay. 17, please. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada moha tamasaha bhavato jnanameva cha. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada moha tamasaha bhavato jnanameva cha. From sattva arises knowledge. Now, as I said, he changed again the constructioning. He says, from sattva arises knowledge, from rajas, greed, from tamas arises heedlessness and delusion, and also ignorance. So, in the previous verse, when he said, from good action arises sattva, he said, there is no cause and effect. Means from sattva arises purity. When he says, if he had said that in the previous verse, there's a cause and effect. But when he did not say it, means there's no cause and effect. So when here he says, from sattva arises knowledge, then there is a cause and effect. As I've said, there's a direct contradiction to the language used in the 16th verse, where he says, fruit of good action is sattva. Thanks, Gayatri. Now, what you must understand, in the previous verse, when he says, in the 16th verse, it is said in an absolute sense. In the 17th verse, it is said in a relative sense. So from sattva arises knowledge. Sanjayate. Sanjayate means arises. The fruit. There's a cause and effect. Cause and effect is only applicable at the terrestrial level. Cause and effect is not applicable at the transcendental level. I don't know what you understand. Everybody's nodding their head. I'm afraid now. Huh? Only Hina is saying, I don't understand. You are only student of mine. Rest all, I don't know what they have understood. I'll prove it to you. I'll ask one or two people what they've understood. You yourself will say, oh my God. See, what you must understand, Hina, is in the previous verse, he's talking about from an absolute point of view. Absolute point of view, there is no cause and effect relationship. Why do they say there is no cause and effect relationship? What did we say in the previous verse? When the impurities are gone, that is when arises purity, right? Did we not say that? When the impurities are gone, arises purity. Now, in the absolute sense, what is absolute purity? Absolute purity is trans-sattva. Now, you need to connect the statements that I've said prior to this. There is no cause and effect with reference to the absolute sense. So anything that you do doesn't give you that. There's no cause and effect. But how do you get to the purity? By removing impurities. That's all you do. So by removing impurities of the gunas, you get to the state of trans-sattva, which is the pure sattva, which is Brahman. But when in the 17th verse he says, from sattva arises knowledge, what it only means is there is a cause and effect relationship. When you are engaged in a sattvic activity, you will get jnanam, you will get wisdom, you will get clarity, you will get jnana chakshu, the eye of wisdom comes to you. And that is through getting established in sattvic activity. So when you are in sattva, you will experience jnanam in your life. When you are in rajas, okay, before I move on, Ramji, yes, sir.
This is a bit confusing, sir.
Thank you, sir. You are only okay. So I rather hold
Because
back
in the
my
previous
comments.
one,
Ah,
you said sattva cannot be practiced. Sattva
correct,
is a state to be reached.
correct.
Now we are saying if you practice sattva, you will get knowledge. From
See,
sattva, you will get knowledge. Means sattva becomes not a state, but it becomes a process or it becomes a route to gain knowledge.
sir, in the previous verse, when we said sattva cannot be practiced,
Yeah.
that has to be taken from an absolute sense.
Huh.
You can't attain that absolute purity. Exactly the same thing. Like meditation cannot be practiced. It's a state that you reach. What you try to practice is removing imperfections.
Correct.
Now, what is from an absolute point? What is imperfection? What is absolute point, sir? Here, absolute point is Brahman, right?
Correct.
And Brahman is described as ultimate purity. Correct? Huh?
Correct.
If Brahman is ultimate purity, Brahman is transcendental. Can you tell me what is the impurity?
Lack of understanding of Brahman or
No, don't get into that. What is the impurity? The impurity in the terrestrial level is sattva, rajas, and tamas.
yeah, because their gunas and Brahman is without gunas.
Gunatita, correct.
Gunatita, yeah.
That you can't practice. Can you practice trying to be Brahman?
No.
You can't practice that purity. What you can practice, trying to get rid of impurities.
Impurities mean the gunas.
Gunas, correct. So when you get rid of the impurities, you reach a state of ultimate purity, which is Brahman. So with reference to 16th verse, that is applicable there. But when it comes to 17th verse, how do I gain sattva? How do I gain knowledge? By engaging in sattvic activity only. For example, now you are engaged in sattvic activity. What results in the more and more you are engaged in sattvic activity, you gain the knowledge of Brahman, you gain the clarity, you get the vision of Brahman. This is at a relative level, at a terrestrial level. So there is a direct cause and effect.
Okay.
But in the 16th verse, there is no cause and effect because it's absolute. So, all this problem started by me asking Hina, can you please notice the difference in the construction? If only I did not tell, nobody would have noticed it. I would have just stated and moved on.
Life would have been very easy.
Much easier. I don't know. I creating unnecessary problems, sir. It is very difficult to hold on when you have so much, no? When I have it, I know it is here in my notes. I want to give it. I'm giving it out. That's causing a lot of problem. So blame is not with you, sir. Blame is with me only.
No, but the point is that the relative level is important also because that is how you practice day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, there's no denying that fact. All sadhana is a relative level.
Relative. But the absolute level of becoming gunatita, of removing impurities, is also something which you will achieve only through the relative practices, right?
Yes.
So we are only trying to reach the absolute level through the relative practices. Yeah.
That is the standard path. There's no change to that understanding. So, as a speaker, I have to be true to the text. And that is what I am being true to. When I am speaking, I almost become the text. And I have to speak in the tempo, the language, the context, and bring out what it is. And if I don't do justice to it, I'm doing injustice to the text. So therefore, the attempt is to highlight the hidden message. And some of you may be lost. I'm completely with you if you don't understand. So don't push yourself, Hina. Don't push yourself. These are certain concepts which it has to be said because the context demands me to say so. The intention is not to confuse you all, but do understand that these terms have a message if you understand the right context. So I'm glad Ramji asked this clarification because I was able to put it in that context to clarify him. I hope that clarifies, Ramji.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah.
Because if you don't look at it that way, we're not bringing the hidden gems of the text. These are beautiful aspects. If you really are able to relate to and revel into it, my God, to what extent the sheer change of grammar from active voice to passive voice makes so much difference. You know, it's like a singer listening to another singer performing on stage. Yeah, I only enjoy the vibrations, I enjoy the sound, and I enjoy the music. But I'm not a singer, Shamalama. I don't have the nuances of the raga and tala, the modulation. I don't understand. But if a singer is sitting there, oh my God, look at that singer, how he's able to go through within the limits, able to modulate and change. As a student of this knowledge, if you're able to understand the finer differences, you will enjoy the depth. And as a teacher, the attempt is to mention it as a matter of fact. And if you go through that study, you will be able to appreciate it at some stage. And all of us are at some stage in our understanding. So please bear with these sections of the text. Otherwise, the concept is fairly straightforward.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Like, for example, when he says from Rajas, greed, from Sattva arises heedless, from Tamas arises heedlessness, delusion, and ignorance. It is pretty straightforward. We don't need much explanation because we already clarified what is Rajas, we've clarified what is Tamas. Okay. Right, let's take up one more verse. Before that, quickly, I don't understand Transattva. Transattva, it is beyond. Trans means transcending. It is beyond the gunas. Guna, atita, beyond it, without it. Okay. I want to complete 18 because from the next verse starts the next topic. Okay. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaghanya gunavrittisthaha adho gachanti tamasaha urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaghanya gunavrittisthaha adho gachanti tamasaha. Those established in sattva go upwards. Urdhvam, go upwards. The rajasika remain in the middle. Madhye, the tamasika following the lowest of guna go downwards. Adhaha, urdhvam, madhye, adha. The three Sanskrit words conveying their status quo. So one who is established in sattva, which is a very, very difficult statement. In fact, that statement means a lot. We are all having sattva, but are you established in your sattva? The trademark of a sattvic person. Okay, what is the trademark of any successful person? The trademark of any successful person is in their dhriti and shraddha. These are two Sanskrit words. Gayatri Ma, can you please share? I know there's a lot that demands you to do. Apart from listening the class, so much she's doing, I don't know what would happen without Gayatri Ma. Can you, no, I don't want you to share, Mak. I want you to type these two, please. The two things which I want you to capture for those who can't get the right wording. Dhriti is consistency of purpose. Dhruthi, Dhriti. And Shraddha, Dhriti is the consistency of purpose. Shraddha is the capacity to pursue something until you reach the goal. Capacity to pursue something until you reach the goal. So, Dhriti and Shraddha are the most important qualities of any successful person. So, you and I have Sattva, but the question is, are we established in Sattva? Or is it I'm only once in a while visiting Sattva and going out? No. It should not be. Sattva is not a visiting faculty. It should be a permanent state that you're in. So one who is established in Sattva, such a person moves upwards. He rises to greater and greater perfection. And the highest perfection is self-realization. He continuously is evolving. He moves upwards. But those who are established in Rajas, caught up in Rajas, they are in Madhye, in between. They don't go upward, not go downward. They're stuck there. And what is the trademark of Rajasic people? They are running around in circles. It's like they're caught up in a vicious cycle. They don't go up nor go down, no aim, no aspiration for the higher. They are constantly running behind the worldly desires. They are living a false life of contentment. I've got this, let me get that. I've got that, let me acquire that. I've acquired that. When am I going to enjoy it? Oh, that guest house that I bought, that penthouse I got, it is there. I've never gone and stayed there. When will I enjoy it? That kind of an attitude. All the time you are acquiring, running. And this, they are caught up in the play of the vasanas, the incessant supply of vasanas. All your energy is drained trying to run and fulfill them. Rajas, they're stuck there. Tamasic fellows are constantly going downwards. Obviously, here the implication is spiritually. They develop grosser and grosser vasanas. They develop inferior quality vasanas. They get deeper, caught up in the vasanas, they stay put there. First of all, they develop gross vasanas and they get deeper stuck in the vasanas. Two words, two different concepts. So very sad. Sattvic people move up, Rajasic fellows are stuck, Tamasic fellows go downward. But again, there's an assurance. I don't know which verse exactly in the Gita it says. Even the worst of sinners can realize the self, he says. So he encourages us the possibility that you and I, even the worst in this classroom, can attain moksha. The worst of sinners, and they're now here in this classroom. Even the worst of sinners can get to that Brahman. So it doesn't matter where you are, what direction you're taking is very, very important. I'll have to leave it at this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate मुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्